All right, we just arrived on a job site. We worked here about 6 months ago on a little patio project in the back. Now we're doing some more stuff here. Today we're gonna just focus on these columns. We're gonna be putting these precast concrete caps, bull-nosed, and it's gonna be cantilevered off the edge of the columns. I'll show you the columns. We're gonna modify these columns so that these caps will fit on top. Here's the columns here. This is actual 16 by 16 inch. The base of those caps are 17-inch square, so we got to pick up an inch on this. So I'm gonna build out we're gonna maintain this rough opening. So we're gonna build out the back side here and this side about 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, something like that. And the way we're gonna do that, we're gonna just take a grinder, grind some of this paint off all the way around. Then we're gonna put some of this lath. We're gonna fasten that with some lags. We've got some tap cons. We're gonna screw right through the wire, right into the columns. That way, when I build it out, that'll kind of hold it, because we got a nice thick build out which could crack up and then separate off the wall. But when we fasten that lath on there, that's going to hold everything to the wall. These columns are going to be end up being a smooth finish, just like the cap. So we've got 4 columns here. Some of them are a little taller than others, especially on the back side, because we're on a hillside here. Well, we got to remove this wrought iron. We've already removed the front gate. We've got to remove this one, but he wants to try to reuse some of this, even though we've got to make these a little bit bigger. But we may just throw this wrought iron away. It's kind of getting rusted. Might be better just getting some new, put in here. Anyway, let's get down to business, start grinding. All right, we did some grinding on the columns. That way it'll key into here and bond really good. And then also, since we're building it out 1 inch on one side of the column, and then we're gonna do 1/2 inch on these two sides, so we're gonna be 17-inch square. We're gonna use this to bring out the inch. Because an inch with just mortar on here, it's gonna probably crack up on you and may not even hook up and bond that well. So we're gonna screw this in. I'm gonna use some tap cons. We got some right here that we'll be using. So basically, I'm just gonna drill a hole. Let me get my drill roto hammer. All right, so the material we're using for the bond coat is going to be a type S mortar, and then I'm going to mix the type S mortar with some thin set, and then I'm going to add some fortifier and some concrete glue. Also, before I even apply it to the wall, I'm going to put some of the concrete glue in my 1-gallon pump-up sprayer and spray that onto the wall before I start applying this bond coat. And here's the mixture. I went about 1 bag of the thin set to a full bag of the mortar. Those mortar bags I think are 90 pound. The thin sets are like 40 pounds or so. So this initial bond coat is just to get rid of all the texture that used to be on that wall, because we're going to be doing a smooth finish, and then we're going to use a color stucco. We're going to be doing a light gray and a smooth finish. And then the columns also are smooth. So what it's going to do really is just enhance the entry to this house. Basically is the accomplishment we're going to gain on this modification. There is a lot more to come at this particular location, because we're going to be doing a barbecue island, a patio with some drains, a outdoor fireplace, the whole enchilada. Quick thanks to the sponsor of this video, Manscaped, the global brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. Manscaped hooked me up with a bunch of stuff from their all-in-one Performance Package 4.0. So let's check it out. Here's the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. Has a skin safe technology. It's also good underwater. Also included in the kit, ball deodorant, refreshing ball toner. That's going to come in handy. Manscaped really has you covered from head to toe. Go to manscaped.com today and get 20% off plus free international shipping plus 2 free gifts when you use promo code Odell at checkout. Thanks again, Manscaped. All right, we're back on the job site. This is our 3rd day on these 4 columns. You can see we got the bond coat on here. This is what I call my bond coat, because I had that special mixture I put together, and it's holding up really good, even though it went on here pretty thick, minimal cracking. So the mixture I did is I'm real happy with it, and I can tell that this is definitely not coming off. So now that we have the bond coat on here, I'm gonna go ahead and put I'm going straight mortar on this 2nd coat and just water on this. That way the mortar will bond to this, and I'm going to really shape it up nicely today. And then of course there's going to be another coat, which is the color coat. That's another day. All right, let's start mixing and get down on it. Now, because of the columns, the way they're rounded off on the top, they had like a dome on just for water runoff. Because we're putting the precast caps on here and they're flat and level, we need a level platform to set them on. So we got to level out the top of these columns basically. There's an intercom within the wall. That's that one box that's an inset. And then on the other side, I think it was actually a couple lanterns. There's electrical and intercom. So a lantern's going to go on both sides eventually. So this is my 2nd coat. And since we already have the bond coat, now I'm going with just some straight type S mortar. And I'm just wetting the wall down with water. I'm going to trowel it on, try to shape this up as nicely as possible, because we're going to just do a smooth finish on the next coat after this one. And each one of these coats is another day. The lath that I put on these columns worked out really nicely, and that was another reason I used the pump-up sprayer to apply the glue, so I could shoot it right on through the lath and make sure it made contact with everything. So this is starting to take pretty good shape to where it looks to me like I can go ahead and put my final coat on this and have a nice square flat surface. This is the color coat stucco, and this is La Habra, and it's a light gray. It's dark right now, but after a couple days it lightens up to about this, probably a little bit lighter than the cap. I know, I'd be kind of frightened about that deal, to be honest. Seems kind of scary. A scary situation there, you know?
Yeah.
A-I-O. There is a tool, a corner tool that you can get for these columns. It's basically a trowel, 90-degree turn. You can get 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever you want on the corners, but I'm just going to freehand the whole thing. I'm going to freehand the corners just with the basic trowel. Now I have water with me because as I trowel this on, I'm getting it smooth. I popped a couple holes in my water bottle just so I could spray minimal water on it and trowel it. That makes it real nice and smooth. If you put too much water, you're going to discolor it, and then it's not going to cure out evenly. So you got to minimize your water and make sure you're pretty consistent with how you apply it. This is real similar to the same way if you wanted to stamp these columns with some texture or put any type of stamp you want, you could put a color hardener on here, the same technique the way I'm applying this, but you'd put it on a little thicker, and then you could actually stamp it, two-tone it, do a lot of things with these columns really, or walls, vertical surfaces. All that's going to be really left to do to really highlight these columns is with some paint, because those are painted walls. Just tighten up those lines coming down the column with some paint, and then you have a really nice detail. That's 1 day later. You can see how much different they cured out that quickly. It'll even cure out a little bit more evenly after that as time goes by. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification button, that way you'll know when the next video goes up. Thank you. Bye.